Hello there, and welcome to another Creative Home Staging Show. I am your host, Kasha McDaniel. Happy New Year. This is going to be a great year. I know it is. And I know some of you who are going to be selling your houses soon. You're getting ready to go because I know I'm in that same spot that you guys are. And I'm actually pre recording this before the new year because we're getting to be ready to move ourselves right after the new year. I have packers showing up January 3rd, all the way through the following week. And we've got two different shipments, and there's a lot going on. But I know that some of you are going to be selling your house soon. And in this week's episode, I want to talk about some home staging trends in 2025 that are going away that may affect the sale of your house. And that's what I want to talk with you about today. So let's talk about first, what are trends? Well, trends are basically a home style, decor style that will only last for a couple of years, maybe 2 or 3 years, maybe even less, depending on what's going on, right? And it's something that's hot that people want in their house, right? And then realize, ooh, maybe that's not working out so good. Kind of like those floating shelves that you have in your kitchen. Yeah, not so very good maintenance wise, keeping clean wise, hard to keep the clutter off of them type of thing, right? So that's a trend. That's an example of a trend. Another example of a trend could be a wall color that may be a hot color, but yeah, after a while kind of loses its flavor, if you will, right? So that's what I want to get into because some of those decisions that you make in your home may affect the sale of your house. Now, some of these things you can change pretty easily. Some of them you may not, may cost a lot more to get rid of if that's something you decide to do. But I do want to talk about them. So, in your area, trends may go faster in bigger cities than they do in smaller ones. Like, for example, we live about an hour south of Raleigh, Durham. So in our area, the trends tend to sail around a little bit longer than they do that if you lived in Raleigh, Durham, or Charlotte, the big cities, right? Um, so it's not to say that these things will turn off buyers, but they may not be as popular, and some may not want to see it as a trend, right? May not want to see something like that in their house. Okay. So if you are going to be selling your house in 2025, here are some example of trends that are going away. And then I'm going to share with you things that you're staying that can help you sell your house in 2025, if that's what you're doing. So let's get started. So, what is going out in 2025? Now, the first one are gray walls. Now, behind me in this, it's kind of a gray kind of a day. So the walls behind me look kind of gray, but they're actually have a blue tint. They're blue. The curtains behind me are gray. If you're watching me on my YouTube video, those are gray, but the walls are blue, right? So gray walls, while they were hot for a couple of years, they're now, yeah, no, not so much. The gray sterile color is going away. So what's going to changing it to is they're going to more comforting brown colors, earthy tones, more neutral colors, mid-tone blues like mine, right? So that may be something. Now, this blue, for those of you who asked before, is actually Rainy Days by Magnolia Homes. So if that's some color that you would like to try out, this is the one blue. Actually, I have a different blue in my laundry room, but in the bedroom and the office, it's this one called Rainy Days by Magnolia Homes. Not, I don't get anything back from them, no kickbacks or anything like that. I just really love this blue color. So that's why I painted the office that color, right? So yeah, so gray walls are trending out, and they have been kind of over time. You may notice that as you're looking at pictures. So yeah, so if you are looking to refresh some of your rooms, and maybe you need to because the wall paint is just not looking its greatest anyway, don't pick a gray color. Okay, pick a warmer neutral color for your walls, but not gray. Okay. Um, let's see. So the next one, gray flooring is going out, specifically vinyl flooring, gray vinyl flooring. If you've seen that, you may have noticed the gray flooring with the gray walls. There's too much gray. It's just so sad looking, maybe even. Now, I did have a house that I staged a couple years back, actually about 5 years ago, where it was trending, right? And you needed lots of color to kind of take away from the gray. Now, so we added some green, there was pink in there. So we kind of helped, especially with the green, to kind of brighten up the space, to not make it look so gray and kind of sterile looking. You know what I mean? Give it some life, right? So the flooring, that one's going to be expensive to replace if it doesn't look like it needs to be replaced, right? So that may be a setback that you may have if you are selling your home and you have the gray flooring. I'm not saying to go change it, okay? Not right away. What you may find is that buyers may be maybe turned off by it, maybe they may not like it, they may make comments of it on the open house and say, yeah, the house is great, but that gray flooring, just no, you know. So it really depends on your area. Again, depends on the big cities, whether those are the ones that are, the trends go through faster, or if you're kind of out in a rural area that it doesn't matter much. Maybe it doesn't make a difference. So it really depends on that. But if you are selling your house, maybe you want to give an allowance for changing out the floors if that's something that you see as a common input feedback that the real estate agent has on your home. They may say, yeah, the gray flooring is kind of got to go. You may have to give an allowance for that. Now, I'm not saying you have to give a full amount as how much it would be to replace all of it, but you can give some money towards it. Doesn't have to be the full, like say it cost, I don't know, we'll say $20,000 to replace the flooring. No one says you have to give an allowance for that amount. It could be something like 10, 5, 10. Again, depends on how much of the floor is gray flooring. Is it just in the living room? Is it the whole house? How much gray flooring is in there really? So take a look at that. Take into consideration those things. It may not be in your budget to do it, and you may have to just lower the price of your home. That may be an option too. Okay, so there's different ways to look at it. You may not get the full price of your home because that gray vinyl flooring is something that's going out. Again, it doesn't always happen in every single area in the country. Okay, so talk to your real estate agent, see what trends are going on in your area, and see if that's something that may hinder the sale of your home. Okay. Another trend that's going away in 2025 are large light fixture, specifically over like the kitchen island. You've seen those big, huge, beautiful light fixtures, but those are just going away, right? And what you can do instead is just have smaller pendant lighting, maybe something with some color or something like that, maybe not as large, to replace those large fixtures. Again, maybe in your area it's perfectly fine, but just so you know, in the larger cities, those are the ones that are, going away out of favor. Okay. Marble, oh no, sorry. Geometric accent walls is another trend that's going away. You may have geometric shapes, because they're contemporary. They're part of the design that you have in your home. Maybe that accent wall is something that's just not quite going. It depends on the style of your home. If you have something like that, I've actually also seen it on the kitchen islands, like on the wall. If you have stools there, just something fun there. That may be something that may be going out of trend as well. And not all the houses have that. Maybe the newer modern houses have that, and you've been in the house for maybe 2-3 years and you got to sell it. Well, that may be something that you may need to just either paint over or replace or something like that. Again, it depends on the style of your home. Okay, if it still goes with it, great. If it doesn't, that may be something that you may need to look at changing. Okay. Another trend that I've seen and heard are in kitchens are the countertops and the marble countertops. Largely, you see granite coming back, and quartz is becoming old. So the countertops may be changing, and I've had granite. I actually have granite and quartz in my kitchen. The granite is on the middle island. I have a big, huge 10-foot long island. With stools on one side and cabinets underneath. And then on the perimeter of the kitchen is gray quartz. And quartz, if you read up on that, you may have heard that in Australia it's banned as a stone because of the health safety factors that the workers have to suffer through when they're cutting into the quartz. So quartz is starting to come out of favor. There's many other stones that you can use for your countertops. Take a look at that. But I'm not saying you have to change it, but that may be a factor in selling your home. It depends on how much marble you have in your home. We've lived in our house now on and off for 7, 8 years now. Yeah, we never changed it to marble. It's always been quartz and granite. So again, it really depends on the style of your home, how old your house is, how many years ago it was built. So that may be something you take into consideration for the price point of your home. Again, talk to your real estate agent. Okay. So like I said, I have the quartz and marble in my kitchen, and that's something that I can share how mixing things can be useful. And that brings me a great segue into my monthly home staging membership. So I call it the Home Staging Squad. It's a group membership on Facebook. Now I know I love Facebook. I mean, I'm older. I'm not the young generation. I'm sorry. But that's where we're going to hold our ways that you can share pictures or questions. If you have a burning home staging question, this is the great place to do that without having a full consultation. Maybe just have one question or maybe a couple questions, or see what other people are doing in other parts of the country or the world, depending on who joins our group at what time of year. But this is a great way for you to get your home staging questions in this monthly membership. So what happens is you get a chance to ask your questions, post a picture, and once a month we meet live and we can answer your questions that way too. So maybe I always like to kind of watch and sit on Facebook groups and kind of see what questions that people have and kind of go, oh, yeah, I didn't realize I had that too. Is that a problem? Is that an issue? Is this color going to work? Or this layout? So this is a great way to ask your home staging questions, is to join my monthly membership. And I'll leave the link in the show notes so you can take a look at that. And hopefully I see you on the inside and we can help you get your house sold faster. Okay. So that's the membership, the Home Staging Squad. Take a look at the link in the show notes below. Now, what are some things on what you can do about some of these changes that I talked about, these trends, right? So, like I said, it may be too costly to change out the flooring, but it's in bad shape anyway. Maybe it needs to be replaced. Like I said, maybe it is an allowance. Maybe you do have to reduce the price point of your home. Those are different things that as a homeowner, you may not like, but sometimes it's the reality. And I would rather know and kind of be educated on that versus kind of go, well, why isn't my house selling? Well, that's probably why. Okay. You can repaint the walls in certain rooms. If there's gray in just the bedrooms, maybe you can paint the walls versus having a painter come in and paint the walls. Okay, that's an option if you have the time to do that, or hire somebody to do that. Depends on how big of a budget you have to help get your house ready to sell, right? And then same thing with the accent walls, if that's something that you have some geometric shapes, or if the lighting fixture, if that's something that you can replace, maybe it's an older fashioned light fixture and you're like, okay, let's walk into a big box store and see what light fixtures they do have in there, and take a look at yours and realize, oh, yeah, we do need to update that a little bit. So take a look. Certain things you can easily do, certain things you may have to have an allowance for. But again, see what is trending in your area to help you decide on how to best stage your house. So now, what is something that will stay, that is classic, that will help you sell your house? So let's talk about some classic styles that aren't a trend, right? So basically, we're talking about a timeless style. There's no trends in it. Now, that's kind of hard to do because we like the new flashy stuff. You walk into those big box stores like Home Goods or Target or whatever, and you see these accessories and different things like that. Accessories are a whole lot easier to change out than it is to change out a countertop, a flooring style, wallpaper type things. Maybe depends on how much you put up. But you're looking for symmetry and balance in the home when you're talking about a classic style, right? You don't want to have too much of one thing. You kind of want to balance out the furniture, the size of the furniture. Again, we don't want everything to be matchy matchy. Like that chair behind me is different from the chair I'm sitting in, but it's an office chair. It's more comfortable. That one's more decorative type of thing. You want to balance out where the furniture pieces are. You want to think about rich materials, maybe something with some texture, right? Or, just something that looks nicer, right? Like that chair looks nicer than this black office chair that I'm sitting in, right? Neutral color palettes. Those are something that's timeless, right? Layering textures. Maybe you have throw pillows or blankets or things like that, and different variations of, nubby stuff, nubby pillows versus soft velvet pillows. So those are just some ways to kind of keep it more classic and timeless. All right. Another thing that will stay around are biophilic trends. Now, those are, if you haven't heard of the term biophilic, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Basically, is adding greenery into your home, whether it's live plants or fake plants like I have, but adding more of the greenery into your home where it just brings the outdoors in. That's what people are doing. So they're bringing in more natural elements into the home. That is tending to stay. People are wanting to bring more of the outdoors in, right? Maybe we tend to stay more inside the house versus venturing outdoors, right? Another thing that's definitely definitely is going to stay for a while is maximizing your space. Things that are dual use items, whether it's furniture, an ottoman that has a hideaway that you could put blankets in or pillows or something like that, or like this cabinet behind me. I used to use that as a shoe cabinet in our foyer, but our current foyer is too small for that right now. So this now becomes my office supply cabinet. So anything you can use to maximize space to use things well, a bookcase, if you have some office supplies that you put away in there, your books that you need for your business, maybe. Anything that you can do to maximize your space without overcrowding it is here to stay. Okay. Uh, Texture and contrast, always. Those are never going away. If you can add just some texture, like my sweater here is kind of nubby, kind of soft and warm, and then you have some other colors to kind of help balance things out. I say those words often, I know. I So if you see that nubby kind of pillow, but then you have a smooth pillow with it or a smooth blanket with it, that's perfectly fine. Those are here to stay. You don't want everything all beige on beige on beige, right? That just gets boring, right? And that you want your home to be comfortable, functional yet comfortable, right? And people will see that when you're staging your house too. Functional yet comfortable. They can imagine themselves living in the house. That's what we're trying to do. Okay. Um, Another thing that's hidden features are always fun. That's another thing that's going to be sticking for a while. I have like some of my cabinets under my kitchen. I have pull-out drawers for my pots and pans, and that's so much easier than just a static shelf, right? Because then I pull it out, I can reach all the pots and pans that I need, and then push it back. Hidden features like that always will be helpful around in the kitchen or in a bathroom cabinet. Maybe it's a pantry. Maybe you have a pantry that has those pull out drawers that can help get you to the back of it versus kind of digging through and trying to figure out where's that can of tomato sauce that I had. Yeah, right. And then high tech. High tech is definitely coming about more now. I don't know if that's going to be a trend type of thing. They say it's going to be something that will stay around for a while. Yeah, so I can see like the doorbells, or the doors, right? Instead of having a key, punch a number in. I've seen a lot of that in houses too. Um, Other features, high tech could be the appliances like the refrigerator, the kind that you can see inside without opening the door. So appliances, take a look at that, smart devices, things like that. Any times you can remote control like your heating system, right? We have one that you can set up with a Wi-Fi that if, say, we're going on a trip for a little while and we want to turn down the heat while we're gone and then turn it up remotely before we even get home, yeah, that's good efficiency. You're not heating the whole entire house. And oh, by the way, when you come to the house, it's not 60 degrees and you're like, oh my God, we're freezing in here. We got to wait for a while for the heat to catch up, right? So things like that, high tech. Okay. So let me share with you the moving tip of the week. Now, again, since I am in the middle of moving, and at this point, I'm about, when I'm recording this, about 2 weeks from us leaving, a little more than that. Anyway, I still got to forward our mail. Yes. So make sure you don't forget to forward your mail to your new address if you already have it. Or if you don't have one yet, maybe you're staying in a hotel for a while, maybe you have a P.O. box, maybe you put it on hold for a little bit. That may be an option. But if you know what to do, forward your mail now. Please start that now. Get it ready. If we have a date that we know we want to cut it off at and then start forwarding to the next location. But also at the same time, you may forget about this because you don't. Luckily, the USPS reminds me of this, is updating our voter registration. Oh, yeah. Right. Because then eventually, depending on who you are and where you're moving to, if you're military, you may not want to update voter registration. You may not want to change your state license plate or driver's license. But if you do, when you're doing a change of address, USPS does remind you to update your voter registration too. Us going overseas, we're definitely not changing our voter registration because we want to be able to mail in our ballots from overseas. So we'll be keeping that, but we definitely need to forward our mail someplace. And now they actually give you the option of extending forwarding your mail for a fee for more than 12 months. So if you normally the USPS forwards it for 12 months, right? Your mail. But with tax season coming up and other documents that you only get once a year, we're going to opt in and do another couple. You could do, I think, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. There's an option to extend it for beyond the initial 12 months that USPS forwards your mail. So that may be something that you may want to consider depending on your situation. So your moving tip of the week is make sure you forward your mail to your new location. Okay, well, I hope these 2025 trends have given you something to think about when it comes to selling your house. Maybe you need to adjust the wall color, the flooring, think of an allowance. Maybe you're thinking about a price change, or maybe not as high as you thought you would like to have because of some of the features of your home. But again, some of these trends don't move as quickly, don't change as quickly in the towns that you live in. So take a look at what other houses have. Are they having the same kind of colors? Or they have the same kind of floors? If they do, and they're at the price point and they're moving pretty quickly, then that may be your chance to, okay, we can still leave it the way it is and not change anything, right? But I just want to give you an idea of some of the 2025 trends that are coming out, that are going away, ones that are timeless that you know, and hopefully this gives you a chance to get your house ready to sell and moving in the right direction. All right. I hope you guys have a fantastic week and we'll talk to you later.